Hallihallo, ihr Blutsauger, und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Vampyr. Ja, ich gucke jetzt einfach nochmal, wie wir... Irgendwie müssen wir doch hier wegkommen. Kann nicht sein. Komm, wir lassen mal jetzt Wasser ab hier. Oh. Geht's immer noch auf? Vielleicht... Ja... Ich kann weiter. Das ist wundervoll. Endlich. So. Können wir mal hier das mitnehmen. Was? Das ist Loot gewesen? Das ist schön.
How long are you gonna keep me locked in here? Don't you know better?
Ne?
Disgusting asshole!
Aua, Alter.
I'll never be your wife!
Oh, chill, Boy. Chill. Alles wird gut.
Stupid newborn! Let me go, you bastard!
Was? Warum ist denn der so speedy? Scheiß, die wandern.
Keep me locked in here! Just a beast!
Alter, chill.
Disgusting asshole! Vampire or not, I'll never be your wife!
Oh, Boy. Jetzt ruhig. Alter.
Don't you know better? Bastard!
Halt, oh, jetzt.
How long are you
Au.
gonna keep me locked in here?
Au. Komm mal her. Vielleicht kannst du mir doch ein bisschen was geben.
Stupid newborn! Let me go, you bastard!
Jetzt chill, ich versuche dich doch gerade zu retten. Alter, warum hat denn der so ein hartes Schild? Junge.
Disgusting asshole! Vampire or not, I'll never be your wife! This is my territory!
Dein Ernst jetzt? Hast du gerade meine komplette Attacke geblockt? Du Arsch. Ich habe strapazierende Reise zu Manchester hinter mir und bin gerade in London angekommen. Die Stadt wirkt traurig und verzweifelt. Hier wird es nicht schwer sein, eine Frau zu finden, die den Tod entrinnen will. Ich kann es gar nicht erwarten, meine Nachforschung zu begehen. Schon bald bin ich keine Jungfrau mehr. Die Zelle ist vorbereitet. Jetzt muss ich nur noch die richtige Kandidatin finden und sie hineinschaffen. Es wird eine schöne, einfühlsame Frau mit sonnigem Gemüt sein. Ich habe meine Überzeugungskünste bereits an einigen Frauen ausprobiert und sie haben gewirkt. Jedenfalls meistens. Aber meine zukünftige Braut soll nicht unterwürfig sein. Ich werde meine Macht nur einsetzen, um sie herzubringen. Dann werde ich ihr mein Vorhaben erklären und sie einwilligen lassen. Das ist wichtig. Meine Lady soll aus eigenem Willen meine Frau für die Ewigkeit werden. Ich glaube, ich habe die perfekte Partnerin gefunden. Ihr Name ist Lois. Sie ist die Kellnerin in einem Wirtshaus und ziemlich bezaubernd. Ich liebe es, wie sie in dem Bad die Drinks serviert. Und verwüstet stolz. Ich bin sicher, sie wird mein perfekt annehmen. Sobald das Vampirblut ihre Motivation herbeigeführt hat, wird ihr Gesicht verheilen und ihre Narben werden verschwinden. Dann wird sie makellos Schönheit, die momentan nur ich sehe. Ich verstehe es nicht. Lois weigert sich mein Angebot. Warum? Ich habe ihr versprochen, dass ich sie nie zu etwas zwingen würde. Vielleicht lasse ich sie etwas hungern, dann wird sie verstehen, dass ich ihre einzige Wahl bin. Scheiße. Moin.
Miss Teasdale, are you all right?
How do you know my name? Who are you?
My name is Dr. Reed. I managed to track you down thanks to your father.
So my father really was looking after me. This man, this vampire told me my father was dead. Is it true?
I'm afraid so, miss. I'm so sorry for your loss. But you are free to go, as your abductor is no more.
I suppose my jailer also killed my father, didn't he?
Thankfully, he did not search your father's corpse, where I found his notes describing where he might find you. You should read them.
I must find my father's body. He deserves a proper burial.
Goodbye, Miss Teasdale, and be careful. Until we meet again.
Okay. So. Geht's jetzt hier weiter? Oh, da, lecker Snack. Nein! Ich wollte... Was ist denn das? Gewöhnliche Axt. Ich wollte einen Snack haben. Geht's hier weiter? Nö. Also war das nur wegen der Axt. So. Mal lecker Snickers oder Knoppers. Nam, nam.
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Ja, ja. Ist nicht schlimm. Braucht nur ein bisschen Blut.
I have this thirst for blood.
So. Erledigt. Jetzt geht's hier raus. So. Bitte Loso ist da sonst anwesend. Was? Guten Abend. Ich weiß zwar nicht, wer das jetzt gesagt hat, aber ich dachte einfach mal, guten Abend. Was haben wir hier?
Dr. Reed, I am glad.
Piers Geschäft.
Good evening, Miss Price. I'm Dr. Reed. Do you remember me?
Dr. Reed? Yes, of course. You are the doctor who healed me and my mum. Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Good to see you too, Carol. Are you all right?
Oh, yes. I did not hurt myself recently. I know how to take care of myself now. I'm almost a grown-up.
Why are you awake at night, Carol?
I am helping my mother in her shop. It's not easy, but I'm a grown-up now.
I'm sure your mother is grateful for your help.
I do the best I can. But I'm so clumsy sometimes. I drop things. I injure myself. It's a good thing my mother has the patience of an angel.
Why is work not easy? Is something or someone bothering you?
Oh no, most people are gentle with me. But I'm so nervous sometimes. I pay no attention and hurt myself. Good thing my mum learned first aid.
What can you tell me of the people living nearby?
I don't speak to many people, except our customers. It's not easy to make friends. And with the epidemic, it's even more difficult.
Have you no friends at all?
No. Mr. Nitherclick used to pass by and was always nice to me.
Does he not come by anymore?
No. Mum said he was weird. Always reciting poetry about a girl he'd met in Whitechapel. I wonder who this camellia may be.
Do you enjoy working with your mother?
Oh yes, Doctor. My mother raised me alone after my father died. We've always lived together, and she has always watched over me.
Do you remember your father?
No, I was just a baby then. My mother always told me how strong and good he was.
Do you ever think about getting married now you're a woman?
Oh no, Dr. Reed. Mum always says I'm still a child who has no idea how tough life can be. No husband would like a clumsy girl like me.
Have you ever met the famous Aloysius Dawson?
Yes, a very strange man, not very nice.
What do you mean?
He said he was ready to pay good money for rare books, and then laughed at what we showed him.
Okay.
Goodbye, Carol.
Good morning. Good evening, sir.
It's locked, all right. Good evening, Miss Price. How are you tonight?
Dr. Reed, I didn't know you had returned from the war. I had a new doctor when you left, but he's not as kind as you.
Always glad to see a former patient in good condition. It's been a long time.
Too long indeed. And as a token of my appreciation, I'll grant you the best price if you fancy buying anything from my humble shop.
Does your daughter still worry you, Miss Price? I remember you were often concerned about her health when she was younger.
Have you not seen Carol since you returned? She's almost a young woman now, but she'll always remain my sweet little baby.
So you're less afraid?
Some things never change. Carol is still too clumsy for her own good. Sometimes her innocence puts her in real danger.
Why would her innocence put her in danger?
She does not realize how cruel life can be. Maybe I was a bad mother to protect her too much. My poor dear Carol.
You have every reason to be cautious, Miss Price, especially in these difficult times.
Maybe you could talk with her, Dr. Reed. It would be nice to have a man here more often. We would both feel safer.
Carol's gratitude is exemplary. She seems determined never to leave you.
I'm taking care of my daughter as well as I can. It's not always easy, but she's the best gift life gave me.
But she'll probably leave you someday to live her own life. Will that be difficult for you?
Why would she leave? Children sometimes stay with their parents until the end, for they know no one else will love them as much.
What can you tell me about yourself, Miss Price?
I'm still managing my shop. The only difference is, since the quarantine, we're open at night. You, on the contrary, seem to have changed a lot.
Really? Have I changed that much? It must have been the war and the night shifts since my return.
Don't get me wrong, Dr. Reed, you're still handsome. Just maybe a little bit wiser, more serious. It suits you well.
Goodbye for now, Miss Price.
Dr. Reed, I am glad.
Good evening, sir. May I ask you what you're doing here at this late hour?
I'm conducting an investigation about the epidemic in this part of town.
And who are you, sir?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed from the Pembroke Hospital. May I ask who you are and why all the questions?
I'm Detective Inspector Charles Albright from Scotland Yard. And I don't find your answers convincing. What is a Pembroke doctor doing in the West End at this time of night?
I work for the Ascalon Club, Here is my permit to go freely about the city.
The Ascalon Club? You should have said so, sir. I must warn you, these streets are dangerous, and you'd better be careful.
Why are you investigating at night?
Criminals rarely act in daylight, you know. But since you are also a night worker, have you noticed anything strange which requires police attention?
Does the name Fergal ring a bell? Fergal Bansha.
Of course it does. Fergal Bansha, the Butcher of Galway. Hung in Dublin in 1857 for murdering more than 20 men with his bare hands. Why are you so interested in dead criminals, sir?
What are you really doing here?
I told you. I'm a detective inspector from Scotland Yard, investigating suspicious cases in the area.
Do you work alone?
Yes, the situation is difficult for the police. Many of us are sick, and since the summer strike, most men apply a work to rule on their patrols.
What about the situation in the East End? Why are there no police there to protect the civilians?
I know, it's a shame, but we just don't have enough men to cover the entire city.
What are you really doing?
Ah, nicht schon wieder. Das hatten wir gerade. Das hier.
Why are you
Criminals really...
Does the name
Warum verklicke ich mich gerade?
What can you tell me about this district?
I'm the one asking questions, especially when there's a killer on the loose.
What killer?
I'm not going to discuss that with the civilians, sir.
Haven't I told you about the investigation I'm conducting? Perhaps I could help you.
All right, without giving you too much information, I'll tell you this. I'm convinced there is a homicidal maniac on the loose, using the epidemic to disguise his kills.
And what about the epidemic?
We both know the situation is critical, don't we, Doctor? Colleagues of mine die almost every day.
What are you investigating, exactly?
I currently have a few missing persons cases. Mr. Tadao Kimura and Miss Louise Teasdale. I'm afraid they may have been abducted by my mysterious maniac.
Tell me about Louise Teasdale.
She's a waitress. Her father reported her missing. We don't have enough men to search for her, sadly.
Do you have any idea where she could be?
No, but I feel she's been abducted. She went to a pub a few nights ago and vanished. I thought about the sewers, but I'm not equipped for such an investigation.
Tell me about Mr. Kimura.
Mr. Kimura is a businessman who has been missing for a few days. He didn't go home, didn't go to work, didn't go back to his family.
Where was he last seen?
Mr. Kimura was last seen at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich. I followed a possible lead in the West End, but I found nothing.
Tell me all you know about that homicidal maniac you're looking for.
I'm not even sure there is only one. The wounds are always the same, but the modus operandi varies. Sometimes violent and brutal, sometimes precise and swift.
How could different killers inflict the same wounds?
That's my main problem. If my theory is correct, maybe we're facing a group of individuals sharing the same violent tendencies. Perhaps a sadist cult.
Do you know anything in particular about a man called Aloysius Dawson?
Who doesn't know the man? I think he intervened personally to put an end to the police strike of last August.
What else can you tell me about him?
Aloysius Dawson is exactly the kind of powerful and influential man who could commit murder and get away with it, with just one phone call.
Okay.
Goodbye, Detective Inspector Albright.
Goodbye, Dr. Jonathan Reed. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
I cannot enter.
Ist das nicht das Anwesend? was ist das hier? Komme ich nicht rein? Was haben wir denn hier? Erstmal eine Schraube. Schraubenlocke. Was haben wir denn hier? Was macht denn das hier? Okay.
It's locked.
A red river, a song in the dark, the whispers of a sun. Jonathan Reed. At last we meet. The cards warned me you would visit tonight.
I beg your pardon, sir. Do I know you?
Of course you do. Our mutual friend, Dr. Swansea, can't speak highly enough of you. My name is Usher. Usher Talltree.
You are the leader of the Brotherhood, are you not?
Primate of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole, to be precise. I'm really glad we met tonight. I love it when the cards tell me a truth.
The cards told you to expect me.
Yes, they tell me everything. They told me that you struggle hard not to take too many lives.
How do you measure the amount of blood on my hands?
I told you. The cards always tell the truth. Well, most of the time.
Is it possible to tell me my future?
A vampire's fate is much more delicate to read, Doctor. But I can try.
All right. Let me hear it.
The walls of your prison have already been raised, Jonathan. But you will freely accept to be locked inside, full of hope for a better day.
May I ask you about the Brotherhood?
Of course. But I must warn you that there are some subjects we consider taboo, in spite of our fondness and acceptance of your kind.
Who founded the Brotherhood?
That's precisely the kind of question I cannot answer. It is delicate, and may reveal some of our secret traditions.
So you're not just a club of academics and scholars?
Once upon a time, very long ago, the Brotherhood did more than simply study the vampires. They took actions to eliminate the more ferocious and corrupted.
I know there is no love lost between the Guard of Priwen and the Brotherhood. What caused this rift?
It was 1801. The Brotherhood was stronger then, a strength that made them hungry for ever greater power. An argument divided them, and the wound never healed.
What was the nature of the disagreement?
The problem was that both sides considered themselves the legitimate heirs of the original Brotherhood. We divide up the books, the relics, not always fairly or with consideration.
Tell me about yourself. What do you do here, besides turning cards in the middle of the night?
I'm for most a charlatan. For a few, I'm a vampire. And for you, I'm the primate of St. Paul's Stole.
Some believe you to be a vampire. Who?
The Guard of Priwen, who else? For a time, they sent spies to observe my activities, and they even broke into my home to gather proof.
Did they steal anything from you?
A personal notebook they quickly took to their headquarters. All they had to do is to look at me. I'm aging. What better and definite proof that I'm not an immortal?
Do you want your notebook back?
If you ever find it, I'd be glad to have it back, of course. I do ask one thing, though. Do not read it, Jonathan. Some secrets are not meant to be revealed, even to immortals.
For how long have you been a primate?
It was 15 years last year.
What do you make of Dr. Swansea?
Edgar is a brilliant and dedicated man. A man of his time, sometimes a little muddled, but always looking for new paths and new concepts.
Is there anything you could tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Aloysius Dawson. Yes, of course. We met on several occasions. With time, he got deeper and deeper into the occult.
He's not the only one. It's been quite the fashion for several decades. The Golden Dawn, for instance, is just one example.
True. Aloysius was a member of the Golden Dawn until 1900. Then his thirst for dark knowledge grew. I'm talking forbidden texts, readings which blackened his heart.
Okay.
Goodbye, sir. Until we meet again.
I rarely wander, yet it amuses me to converse with your kind. Perhaps London will survive the epidemic, but I see terrible trials awaiting in the future.
Gut, dann sehen wir uns einfach im nächsten Part. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen.